Hey guys, Mr. Backerberg here. In this video, we're going to get an introduction to angles. Now, as we start taking a look at angles, we're actually going to start with looking at a ray. And if you remember from geometry, a ray is sort of like a line, but instead of extending in both directions, a ray only extends in one direction. And what we're going to do with this ray in order to form an angle is we're actually going to take it and we're going to rotate it around that initial point. So I could take this ray and I could rotate it up to here and have another ray extending out from that initial point, and that's going to create our angle. Now this starting side here, this black line where we started our angle, that's called our initial side. And this red line up here where we stopped, that's called the terminal side of our angle. And our common endpoint down here where our angle bends, that's called our vertex for the angle. Now, depending on which way we rotate our ray, that's going to give us different kinds of angles. So let's start with a new ray here. And if we rotate this ray in the counterclockwise direction, that creates a positive angle. But if we were to take that ray and go in a clockwise direction, then that's going to create a negative angle. Now, as we're taking a look at this picture, we've got BC as the initial side of our angle, and we're rotating that counterclockwise up and landing at that BA ray. Since we're rotating in a counterclockwise direction, this would be a positive angle, but I want to focus more so on how we would name this angle. Now, if you've only got one angle in your picture that you're dealing with, then it's okay for you to name your angle by using the point at the vertex. So as we take a look at this angle, point B is the vertex of this angle, so we could call this angle B. But sometimes you need to be a little bit more specific with the names that you're giving to angles. So the other way to name an angle is by using 3 points. 1 point on the initial side, the vertex, and 1 point on the terminal side. So as we look at this picture, we've got point C on the initial side of our angle. Point B is the vertex, and point A is on the terminal side. So we could also call this angle CBA. Now, as we're using the 3-letter way of naming an angle, the outside letters don't matter what order you put them in, but the middle letter always has to be the vertex. So we could also call this angle ABC. That would be acceptable as well. We can flip-flop those outside letters, but that vertex, that B, needs to stay in the middle. Now, as we're looking at measuring angles, the most common way to measure angles is using degrees. And degrees date back to the ancient Babylonians almost 4,000 years ago. And what they did is they took a circle and they split that circle up into a bunch of small little chunks, actually 360 chunks. And that's where we get the idea of a full circle being 360 degrees. Now, we've got different classifications for angles depending on how they measure. So as we take a look at this angle, we typically use Greek letters to represent an angle. So this is the Greek letter theta, and that's going to represent the measure of this angle. So let's say our theta value is somewhere between 0 and 90 degrees. So an angle that measures bigger than 0 but smaller than 90 is an acute angle. If we get to exactly 90 degrees, if this is our angle theta in here, putting this box in the corner means that we're dealing with a 90-degree angle. That's a right angle. If we open up past 90 degrees, so bigger than 90, but smaller than 180, that's an obtuse angle. And if we open up so that we form a straight line, that's a 180-degree angle, and that's called a straight angle. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.